Our reading comes from a diary. On January 2nd, in the year 1665, Samuel Pepys, a 31-year-old civil servant living in London, wrote, "Thus ends the year to my great joy in this manner. I have raised my estate from £1,300 in this year to £4,400. I have got myself interest, I think, by my diligence. It is true, we have gone through great melancholy because of the great plague. But now the plague is abated almost to nothing, and I am intending to get back to London as fast as I can. I have never lived so merrily as I have done this plague time, and great store of dancings we have had at my cost at my lodgings. My whole family hath been well all this while, and all my friends I know of, saving my Aunt Bell, who is dead, and some children of my cousin Sarah's of the plague. But many of such as I know very well dead, yet to our great joy the town fills apace, and shops begin to open again. Pray God continue the plague's decrease." It's been said in countless ways in recent days that the year 2020 was like no other. And it has been said in a variety of artful and not so artful ways, good riddance to 2020, the year that was now. The turning of the year is a natural moment to take stock of our lives, to consider the time that we've spent as well as the time that we have misspent, a time to ask ourselves just how well we are using up the great gift of our lives. These are the kinds of questions that everyone I know either wrestles with from time to time or spends an awful lot of energy trying desperately to avoid. To be sure, they are sobering questions that echo that haunting line from Annie Dillard, who reminds us that how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. These are not easy questions to ask, especially when so much of our lives has been upended in ways big and small by the pandemic, including our sense of time and how we spend it. But if we intend to live lives of meaning and purpose, it is important that we pause at the threshold of a new year to face such questions seriously and to make a study of our lives. This morning, I'm going to invite you to sit with a couple of questions. After each question, we'll share in a time of shared silence that you might use for quiet reflection or even to write down a few thoughts on your own. Before we turn to reflecting on what we intend to let go from the year 2020, what we are determined to commit to the past, I invite you to consider what it is that you will carry forward from the past year. You might get at this by reflecting back on the silver linings that you experienced this past year. That was, to me, the striking thing in that passage from Samuel Pepys's diary. That even in the midst of the plague, he was looking forward to a day beyond the pandemic of his time, a day he was just starting to sense being possible. And that he also took stock of what had gone well, noting that he had never lived so merrily as he had in the past year of the plague. Some of us have had a similar experience. We have come upon unexpected silver linings that no one would have ever seen coming. We have learned things about ourselves, about our strengths, and about our ability to endure that we would have never known had we not lived through the challenges this past year brought. So the set of first questions I have for you this morning are these. What gift do you take from the year 2020? What blessings did the year have for you? And what strengths did you come to find in yourself? As we move into silence for a time, I will place these questions in the chat for you, for those of you who wish to see them. May these things we carry with us bring us courage and strength and resilience for the days ahead. As we turn now to reflecting on what we will let go of, I invite Gabby to offer an anthem to us.
Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and holy name. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy name and holy flame, may you burn bright again. Holy breath and holy flame, may you burn bright again. May you burn bright again. May you burn bright again.
Now we turn to those things we resolve to leave behind. It is our pattern as a congregation to gather on the Sunday closest to the new year for our fire communion ritual. In the writing down of whatever it is we need to let go, and then burning that piece of paper in the fire of our chalice, we symbolically affirm that it is possible and life-giving to move on. We affirm in that act that our failures and our shortcomings are not the whole of who we are, that the sum of our mistakes is not the true or only measure of our lives. This year, meeting as we do online, we must adapt this ritual. Ritual is a very tricky thing these days. Rituals that we've come to know through the years, rituals that have been formed through the patterns of our shared history and practice, are not always easily adaptable to a worship service on Zoom. And so it is with our fire communion ritual. This year, we do not have a communal chalice in which to burn our slips of flash paper that ignite and disappear and a whoosh. So today's ritual will need to be home-based, as is so much else in our lives these days. If you have participated in this ritual before, I invite you to reflect back on the elements of the ritual. And if you've not participated in this ritual before, you can overhear the conversation and think about these things for yourself. What element, what step of the ritual is the one that holds the most meaning for you? Is it the conjuring of the thing or the things that you wish to let go of? Or is it the experience of writing it down, committing it to paper? Or is it the process of moving to the chalice, taking in the beauty and the power of the flame, and then releasing your piece of paper to the fire? Is it the whoosh? Is it the returning to your seat with the burden somehow lifted? Take a moment to ponder. I invite you now to take part in a visual meditation, giving thought to what it is that you want or need to release to the past, those things that you cannot or will not bring with you into this new year. So, Matt, you can share this slide now, if you will. I now invite you to make of this ritual what you need for it to be for you in the place that you are now, both physically and figuratively. In a moment, we'll take a bit of time for you to take part in fire communion, however that makes sense where you are at. It may involve writing something down, or it may be something you only think through. It may involve fire and burning, but please do be careful. Or it may be something that you write down and then keep or wait for another time and a place to dispose of. There is no wrong way to do this. My only hope is that you create ritual for yourself in the coming minutes that is meaningful to you in some way. So let us now move into a time of letting go. Let us let go of the regrets that don't serve us and burdens that we are ready to leave behind. Let us let go of bad habits and relinquish those things that make our lives small or sad. Let us let go of all that we wish, all that we need to leave in the year that is now past. As Adam now begins to play and there's a candle image playing for you on the screen, invite you to consider what it is that you want to let go of and to carry out whatever ritual in your space that is meaningful to you in this time. What we have relinquished to the past now belongs to the past. And now let us open ourselves to the new year that has dawned, embracing its promise and its possibility. Let us not simply make resolutions, but instead let us invite in those things we most need to become the person our lives call us to be. Maybe it means that we invite tolerance into our hearts, or patience, or spontaneity, or contentment. Maybe it's simply fun, or friendship, or joy, or happiness that we're looking for. To help focus your thoughts, I offer you these words from Lisa Friedman. It's called One Wish. If you had but one wish, what would it be? Take your time thinking about it. So much is at stake. An end to all suffering, a stop to all violence, a solution to poverty and all of its ills. Would you wish for love, for forgiveness, or for healing? Would you wish for the world joy or the wisdom to change? Would you wish to understand everything or to know less than you do? Take your time thinking about it. So much is at stake. For a wish is a thought, and a thought is an idea. An idea leads to commitment, and a commitment cries out for action. A wish can be a dangerous thing, sometimes even daring, and it need not be witnessed by the stars to come true. So let us be glad that we are not given just one wish in our lives, but many. Let us be grateful not for wishful thinking, but for the discipline of the thoughtful wishing that can lead to transformative change. So I ask, what would your wish be? Let us hold this question in our hearts and minds in shared silence. May your wish or wishes come true. May you live to make it so.